Well, we're joined by Dr. Fuellmich for the second time this week. Dr. Fuellmich says that after their 100th session of the Corona Investigative Committee and something that requires further investigation, he feels like there's something that he needs to warn the world about. And I'm glad that we're doing this. Dr. Fuellmich, thank you for your time today.
Well, yes, the group of people that collaborates on the individual sessions of the Corona Investigative Committee in Berlin, which is also which includes many scientists and doctors, and I kept telling them that the evidence that they gave us warrants a warning to the world, because up until now there have been recurring warnings from, among others, Bill Gates. Next time they're going to listen. Next time they're going to really know that this is dangerous. The next virus, that's what everybody thought would come, is going to do the trick, smirking into the camera. We don't think so. We think what is really going to happen is they're going to try and divert our attention from the adverse side effects of the shots, one of the worst being the destruction of the immune system. Many of the scientists, many of the doctors who we spoke with said after the third shot, you're lucky if you have still 30% of your immune system intact. That is what we think probably the most dangerous of the side effects, of the adverse effects, because this plays out in the medium and long term. People will not remember that, or in some cases, they will not remember that they got the shots, and they don't draw the conclusion that their breakdown of the immune system may have something to do with the shots. So why do I say this? Well, there's 5 things that are certain facts. One, we know for a fact that there were gain-of-function experiments. We don't know if they were conducted in Wuhan. Maybe they were conducted in Ukraine. We know there were gain-of-function experiments, and we know that there were HIV inserts made into the virus. This is unscientifically speaking, but I'm a lawyer. Fact number 1. Fact number 2, they also inserted HIV parts into the actual so-called vaccines. Why did they do that? Why did they put these HIV inserts into the virus and then into the vaccine? Thirdly, and you are a witness to this in Australia, many people who got vaccinated, this is a while ago, all of a sudden tested positive to HIV. Yes. Turns out they were those were false positives, of course. So that's the third element of fact that we have to take into consideration. The fourth fact is that in the meantime, there are legislative efforts underway in the United States to the effect of AIDS awareness. What is that all about? We don't really have a problem with AIDS right now. So what is going on there? And the fifth fact is that Moderna, which is basically a company that was about to go bankrupt up until Corona, and then they came up with that. They're a one-trick pony. They have this one vaccine, the COVID vaccine, and now they surprisingly got an EUA, emergency use authorization, for an HIV vaccine. So if you take all of this together, and if you then look at the side effects, and if you then realize that one of the worst side effects of the shots is the destruction of the immune system, which is now reaching the mainstream media. Even some parts of the mainstream media are reporting about this. So that means it cannot be swept under the rug anymore. They anticipated that, of course. They're not totally stupid.
We also had Prince Harry early this year actually saying that it's everyone's responsibility to go and get a HIV test.
Very good. That's a sixth element of fact that we have to take into consideration. I had forgotten about that one. So if you take all of this together, if you look at the totality of the evidence, the only conclusion that we as lawyers can draw from this is that they're using the HIV/AIDS scare to divert everyone's attention from the side effects of the vaccines. I think it's not going to work. This is the first time that we're a little ahead of them. trying to warn the public that this is what we think is going to happen. So let's see what really is going to happen. I don't think they're going to come up with a new virus. They may try because they're hoping that this message doesn't reach anyone except for our own echo chamber. They may still try to go through with this. Well, at least we will know that we are right about our suspicions. But I think this warrants a warning.
Do we think, Dr. Fulmich, that they're going to pretend that it's now airborne, or how are they going to make everyone think that they have HIV?
Yes, we discussed that too, because it really doesn't make any sense. HIV, it's not airborne. The virus is not airborne. Everyone, or at least we, remember this.
Yes.
We discussed that last night after our session. I said, how can they even think to get away with that? Well, 80% of the population, at least in Germany, probably doesn't even remember. They don't know. They don't remember that for decades now, the doctors told us, don't worry, it's not airborne. It's even if you touch someone with AIDS, you're not at risk. It's bodily fluids that do it. But all of a sudden, they're going to have to come up with a different explanation, and they're going to come up with something like it's airborne because, you know, all of the measures, the social distancing, the mask mandates, the vaccines, none of this makes any sense if this is really an HIV virus. But I think that's what they're going to try and do.
So we're saying the masses have been so deeply conditioned by Big Pharma, by the politicians, that they'll simply forget because they're in this state of psychosis, and they'll just lap this up. So one more question that I have: do we think that they're going to achieve this through false positives with the faulty PCR yet again?
No, they're going to I don't know what they did for the testing in Australia. I don't know that I think they didn't do it through PCR testing.
Right.
No, but what I do want to say, what I do want to add is, if this comes up, if someone who got the shots has autoimmune problems, and then they tell them, oh, this may have something to do with AIDS, it's very easy to find out if it's really AIDS or if it's vaccine-induced AIDS, because that's what it really is in probably 99.9% of the cases. That there are ways to test this, and it's very simple. This is what the scientists told us last night. So if this comes up, well, there's lots of reason to worry, yes, because even if it's only vaccine-induced AIDS, it's bad, but it's not the actual HIV virus, we believe. This is just a diversionary tactic, and it is very easy to confirm this by getting tested. But right. we're gonna do more about this. We threw this out because we want other scientists and other doctors to come in and take a deeper dive, but we do think that this is the right time to come out with this warning, because why else would they do all this? Why have the HIV insert in the virus in the vaccines? Why did people test positive after getting the shots, falsely positive, as we know, in Australia? Why is Prince Harry doing this? Why are they in this AIDS awareness campaign in the US? And why, of all things, did Moderna get an EUA for a new HIV vaccine?
Actually, the TGA just at the end of last year pushed through a suddenly self-testing kits available at pharmacies for HIV as well. So that's another bit of evidence to support this. Well, I suppose everyone needs to share the information, let people know that if it is the case, it's vaccine-induced AIDS likely. It's probably not airborne like we've been told before. It's spread through bodily fluid, and don't let the fear grip you. Hopefully we can start warning people well in advance. And as well, I'll mention Dr. Zelenko was warning about this some time ago. He is a sponsor of Z Media. If you know someone who does have a compromised immune system, please do consider his products. You get a discount with my code. It's linked in the description below. There are many things that you can do out there to strengthen your immune system, but this is one of the options. Absolutely. Dr. Fulmich, thank you so much for your time and for letting us know about this. We will definitely be in contact with you soon.
Yes, there will be much more to be said about this, but we need some more research. But I think this is the right time to give out this warning.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Dr.
much,
Fulmy.
Maria. Mhm.